Okay, be honest with me for a second. Your mom texts you, call me when you get a chance, and you feel nothing. Not worry, not annoyance, nothing. You get the promotion you spent 2 years grinding for. You tell your friends, they're hyped for you. And you're just standing there thinking, cool, I guess. You watch the game. Your team loses in the last 30 seconds. The bar around you loses its mind. And you're just sipping your beer like you watched paint dry. Even scrolling, something genuinely sad or genuinely funny comes across your feed, and you just keep scrolling. Thumb doesn't even slow down. If that's you right now, I need you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not just an adult now. And you are definitely not the only one. This happens to a lot of people. Parents, students, guys who have it all together. Moms running on fumes, dudes who haven't cried since middle school. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why your brain hit the mute button on your own life and whether you can turn the sound back on. Let's get into it. Think about how much your life runs on autopilot to survive the week. Alarm, commute, job, emails, bills, gym maybe, dinner, repeat. Add a relationship, kids, a side hustle, student loans, whatever your version of the grind is. Every emotion you feel costs your body something. Stress spikes cortisol. Anger jacks up your heart rate. Even love makes you vulnerable. Because now there's someone whose bad day can ruin yours. So if you've been stretched thin for months, bad boss, bad breakup, bills stacking up, family drama that never resolves, your brain eventually runs its own version of budget cuts. And it doesn't say, let's just cut the bad feelings. It says, feelings in general are getting expensive and they're not fixing anything. Cutting the whole department. That's why numbness never shows up alone. You don't just stop feeling stressed. You stop feeling excited for your birthday, into your favorite show, hyped for a trip you saved up for. The whole system goes quiet at once because your brain doesn't have a setting for numb the bad stuff only. 1. The I'm fine grind. Not one dramatic event, just years of answering, how are you, with good you, while nothing under the hood ever actually gets talked about. Eventually, your nervous system stops raising the alarm because it learned nobody was picking up the phone anyway. 2. Grief you never actually sat with. Lost a parent, a pet, a relationship, a version of the life you thought you'd have, and went back to work 3 days later because that's what you do in this country. The feeling doesn't vanish. It goes underground, and it drags everything else down there with it. 3. Burnout, the American classic. Working 50-hour weeks, answering Slack at 9 p.m., we're a family here jobs that don't act like family when you need a day off. Burnout isn't just being tired. It's running out of the emotional fuel you feel with. 4. Depression, but not the version in the commercials. Not always crying in the rain. A lot of the time, it's just gray. Watching your own life like it's a rerun of a show you used to like. Going through every motion, work, gym, dinner with friends, with the volume turned down on all of it. 5. Meds, alcohol, weed, whatever you're using to cope. Nobody likes talking about this one, but it's real. Some antidepressants blunt your range as a side effect. Regularly numbing out with a drink after work or getting high every night to relax does the same thing over time. Separate from whatever's going on underneath it. Here's the part almost nobody says out loud. Sadness is uncomfortable, but it proves you're still in there. It's something your friends can see, something they can show up for with a six-pack and a couch to sit on. Numbness doesn't give anyone anything to hold on to, including you. From the outside, you look completely fine. You show up to the barbecue. You laugh at the right jokes. You post the vacation pictures. Nobody has any idea that underneath it, it feels like you're watching your own life from the passenger seat. And here's the cruel part. A lot of people actually feel guilty for not feeling more. Guilty they didn't cry at the funeral. Guilty they didn't feel happier on their wedding day. Guilty their kids said something adorable and they just noticed it instead of feeling it. That guilt is proof of nothing except that you care about caring. Hold on to that. If any part of this hit a little too close to home, that's not a coincidence. And you're not the only one in the comments who's gonna feel that way. This isn't the end of your story. For most people, it's the chapter right before things start feeling like something again. Drop a comment if this described you or someone you know. You'd be shocked how many normal, put-together people are dealing with the exact same thing behind a totally fine-looking life. Subscribe for more of this. Real talk about the stuff going on in your head that nobody actually explains to you.